Hey everybody, it's me, Remy, the comic book poser, and I'm here to welcome you to Enter the Poserverse. Another week's gone by, another Wednesday's coming up, so here are the 23 books I plan on picking up this week, and you'll find out what made the list after this.
Hey! The champ is telling you to do something! Alright, you know what? You know what? You know what just happened? Because you didn't do what he said? You know what? You know what? You just made the list!
Alright, on my recommendation list this week, I've got 23 books that I plan on pulling, and some of you are still going, wow, that's a lot. I'll remind you it's less than like the 42 to 46 books that I picked up and read last week, so I'm trying to get it down, trying to keep it around 20. We'll see if I'm successful in that or not, but who knows. From Aftershock, there are two books I plan on picking up this week. The first is Disaster Incorporated number 3, by Joe Harris with art by Sebastian Perez. This is gotten better between issue 1 and issue 2 in terms of understanding the threat that may be lurking behind or in the shadows of the people who have went on this kind of adventure tourism expedition into the walled-off areas after the Fukushima nuclear disaster. We still don't know if they're aware of the threat, what exactly is going to happen to them. So this book, again, for me, is kind of on the fence on whether or not I will cop it or drop it, as the jabroni would say. That if issue 3 is as good as issue 2 was, then it'll stay. But if it's still kind of wishy-washy, then I think it will go on to the it's not bad, it's just not for me pile. Number 2 is a new book coming out this week. It's Lonely Receiver number 1. It's by Zach Thompson and Jen Hickman. And there are 2 covers coming out for this one, and I plan on just getting the A cover because I love Jen Hickman covers. I love Jen Hickman art. You can go back and check out my top 6 covers that I did for D-Runk's contest that concluded this past weekend, and one of the things that I showed off were 3 of the wraparound finger guns variants because I think the work that Jen does is just freaking stunning. From AWA Upshot, there's one new book this week, and it's a fresh number 1. It's Grendel, Kentucky, number 1 by Jeff McComsey and Tommy Lee Edwards. There are 2 or 3 covers that are coming out. I plan on getting the A cover, which is a Tommy Lee Edwards. The B cover looks really, really cool. It's a sketch-ish cover that is drawn by Mike Deodato Jr. From Boom Studios, there are 2 books that I like to get this week. Number 1, of course, is King of Nowhere number 5 by W. Maxwell Prince with art by Tyler and Hilary Jenkins. I've enjoyed this book that we've started to see some of the explanations behind why North Warwick is such a peculiar place in book number 4. We're starting to figure out that there's actually some kind of elaborate conspiracy or like cover-up story that's in the works, so I appreciate it, and I like what Prince has put together, and I think the type or the style of art that Tyler and Hilary Jenkins engage in just perfectly matches the story that's being told. There are 2 covers. I've been getting just the A covers for this book, and it's by Tyler Jenkins. But there are also the B covers that look pretty good from Martin Morazzo, Prince's partner in crime from Ice Cream Man. And the B cover looks pretty cool this week, so if I see it, there's a good chance I might grab it too. The second book from Boom is We Only Find Them When They're Dead, number 1. It's by Al Ewing with art by Simone DeMeo. And just like 7 Secrets, which was the last big new book from Boom, there were several covers floating around. There are a bunch of them out there for this. I'm just going to pick up the A cover drawn by Simone DeMeo. I don't know what's going on with this one, that I've missed some of the hype, that I missed the previews catalog where all of these books were kind of covered and hyped. So I'll get on it. If I like it as much as I have everything else I pick up from Boom, or as much as I liked 7 Secrets, which came out like 3 weeks ago now, then I'll be happy. Dark Horse finally has a new book coming out this week, and I still don't know why they've kind of disappeared in the wake of COVID, that the only thing that they've really had come out since COVID is like the alien screenplay in a comic book form. There are 2 books that are coming out from Dark Horse that I initially was going to get, but one of them that fell off the list was Bang. There's a good chance that I might turn around and pick up Bang number 3 again. But my focus this week is on Spy Island number 1 by Chelsea Kane with art by Elsie McCall, and the A cover is by Leah Maternique. It looks cool. It's listed as like a Bermuda Triangle thriller, so I'm definitely intrigued by the tagline on that book. From DC, I've got a couple of books I'm picking up, and I've added a new Batman story to my list. So the first book I want to get is Batman The Adventures Continue number 4 by Alan Burnett, Paul Dini, and Ty Templeton. There are 2 or 3 covers out in the wild for this one, and I plan on picking up the A cover by James Herron. I don't know what's going on in this yet, but the guys at the second LCS in my town kind of recommended reading this one. So I picked up 1, 2, and 3 last week, and I've read 1 and 2, but not 3 yet. But I'm going to pick this up that I kind of like what's going on in The Adventures Continue. The second one is also a Batman book. It's Batman number 98 by James Tynion IV, Jorge Jimenez, and Tomeu Mori. The Joker War continues. It just keeps to get more and more insane, and I want to know if there's like a connection between some of the 3 Joker stuff and the Joker War. Because if there are multiple Jokers, then it adds a new depth to the Joker War. But if they're not in like simultaneous continuity, then that's fine. But I really, again, enjoy what's going on in Tynion's run on Batman. I'm definitely getting the A cover by David Finch. I'm a sucker for Matina variants, and the B cover from Matina this week looks really, really cool with kind of the specter of the Joker kind of morphing out of Punchline. I think it just looks really, really cool, and that's a book that I definitely want to have, and is probably one of the variants that I'll chase the hardest this week. The third is Deceased Dead Planet number 3 by Tom Taylor, Trevor Hairsine, and Gigi Baldacini. We were figuring out what is happening in Cyborg's disembodied head. It's wild. I finally got caught up on Deceased. I like what they're doing at the beginning of Dead Planet. Definitely picking up the A cover by David Finch, but there's a chance that if I see the C cover, which is the movie homage, like the movie poster cover swipe, then I'm definitely going to pick that up. This issue's movie poster is V for Vendetta, and you can see that it says D for Deceased, and it's by Yasmin Putri. But I think it looks really, really cool. I'm a sucker for those movie poster variants, and I might not get the A cover to get the B cover. Next up is Justice League number 52 by Jeff Loveness and Robinson Roca. I don't know how I feel about what happened in Justice League number 51. I think it's kind of interesting that, you know, everybody's fears and like nightmares are being tapped into and whatever weird like planet thing that they're on. It's kind of intriguing to me. My interest is piqued since I've been reading Justice League. We're on our 3rd different writer in about 12 issues. I don't know how I feel about enjoying a continuous story. Like, I liked what Spurrier did in the middle. I thought what Venditti was doing was pretty good. So we'll see. I'm going to give Loveness a couple 3 issues to keep me hooked. If not, as I, continue to Marie Kondo my pull list, there's a chance that Justice League might fall to the wayside. The last book, and the one that probably everybody is hyped about, if it's not, Batman 98, is Strange Adventures number 5 by Tom King, Mitch Gerads, and Doc Shaner. Again, I've talked about why I love the duality that shows up in both of the covers at the same time. So you've got A as the Mitch Gerads cover and B as the Doc Shaner cover. I didn't like book 2 of this. Book 3 and 4 were both pretty good to me. So number 5, I'm hoping it delivers in the same way that the last 3 have. The last one, if you're looking to get me a Christmas present, or a hey, how you doing, here's a sweet hardcover present, or I think I still have a Midtown gift card that I won on like Comic Book Club's trivia thing. There is a Booster Gold hardcover that's coming out this week. It's Booster Gold Futures Lost by Dan Jurgens, and then a bunch of different artists, and it collects several issues from the original 80s run of Booster Gold, and then big relevant appearances of Booster Gold throughout, the last 20 years in this hardcover. As I'm a sucker for Booster Gold, that I don't know why I love this colossal screw-up of a human from the future. Maybe it's because I love Skeets. Who knows? But that comes out this week, and I'm kind of excited for it. From IDW, there's one book that I am proud to pick up this week, and you can call me a brony if you want to. My Little Pony Transformers 2 comes out this week by Sam Maggs, Ian Flynn, Sarah Petrie DeRoche, Casey Collar. I thought the tone of the first book was funny enough. The reaction of the Transformers landing on Equestria was humorous enough to me to want to read more of this run. I also picked up, and I think it's still live, there's a Humble Bundle that's up that is the IDW Hasbro crossovers. If it's still up, you can get like the Transformer G.I. Joe stuff. You can get a lot of those like story crossover runs from IDW that people like. But yeah, My Little Pony and Transformers 2. Will it make the list? We'll see. From Image, there are 4 or 5 books that I plan on getting this week. The first is Die number 13 by Kieran Gillen, Stephanie Hans, and Clayton Cowles. There are 2 covers, and you know that I love Stephanie Hans' art, that I think the only person who loves it more than me is Ian over at Tacoma Comics, but I think she's killing it. This story arc has been super intriguing to me, as they are on the verge of potentially fighting their way out of the game in terms of either persuading everybody to go back to their original non-fantasy role-playing game lives, or they are, maybe going to have to kill some of their friends. I don't know. Next up is Firepower number 3. You didn't hear me mention anything before because I didn't think I was going to hop on that bandwagon, but enough people have said that the Prelude trade paperback and issues 1 and 2 were good enough that I also picked those up last week, and my goal is to read it between, now and Thursday morning. But Firepower 3 comes out. There's 1 cover. It's by Robert Kirkman, Chris Sammy, and Matthew Wilson. The next one is the Image book that I might be the most excited about, and it's hard to put one above Die for me. But Lost Soldiers number 2 comes out. It's by Ails Clot, Luca Casalanguida, Heather Moore, and I think 2 or 3 other folks that I didn't see their full name on Midtown. I just kind of like the specter of an old war haunting old men who are being drug in to fight a modern conflict. I want to see if there's another dope bell hooks or another kind of philosophical quote on the inside of the front cover. But I have enjoyed the first book. It was almost my pick of the week. It might have been my pick of the week. It came out, but I like it a lot. And then the last one is On the Stump number 5 by Chuck Brown and Prenzy. There are 2 covers, and again, I'm getting the A cover from Prenzy. On the verge of kind of unveiling who is behind the act that is going to threaten everybody. It's still wild, but it feels like this is something like On the Stump could be the way that the end of the year 2020 goes down, that we just have politicians fight it out in the Thunderdome. I don't know. Marvel is having a huge release week this week because they've got, their 4 million Empire books and tie-ins and covers that I'm not reading or picking up. They've got a bunch of Marvel Zombies stuff coming out this week that I think it's Zombies Resurrection starts. And while some of those covers look cool, especially the couple of different X-23 characters or covers that I've seen, I'm staying away. I've cut it down to 6 books, and only because 2 of them are short-run books that came out digitally, and I'm picking them up in print now. The first is Avengers of the Wasteland number 5 by Ed Brisson and Jonas Scharf. I like what's happening in terms of looking at this team of new Avengers kind of fighting the Doctor Doom's control that we're starting to get to a big point of conflict, and I'm ready to see how it turns. The second is a new book this week. It's Black Widow #1 by Kelly Thompson, who I fell in love with her work on Deadpool and Jessica Jones Blind Spot. So I'm definitely going to pick up this Black Widow #1, but it's Kelly Thompson, Elena Casagrande, and Jordi Belair. There are several covers for this book. I'm probably going to get the standard A Adam Hughes cover, but the B cover is a J. Scott Campbell cover that even the simple trade dress version of this variant, I've already seen prices kind of shoot up on it. So if I see it, I'll get it to keep it because I like what Hughes and J. Scott Campbell both do on covers. The next one is Cable #4 by Jerry Duggan and Phil Noto. I have made it through parts of my pile of X from the last 4 weeks. Cable and New Mutants, which come out this week, are going to go on the bottom because they're the two newest titles, but I am getting very, very excited for kind of this universe of new Krakoa as it's been set up as we are getting ready for the Ten of Swords event. Next one is the final book in the Hawkeye Freefall series by Matthew Rosenberg and Otto Schmidt. I've loved this. I've thought it was hilarious. Yes, again, I'm aware that it came out in digital format, but I'm picking it up in print because I want all of them. I want that 6-issue run in my hands and in my short box. Like I mentioned a second ago, New Mutants 12 by Ed Brisson and Marco Falia is coming out this week. The cover on this one looks really, really cool in terms of a collage of a bunch of different news clippings. I think it looks kind of cool. But yeah, I'm almost caught up on New Mutants. And then the last one is Wolverine #5 by Benjamin Percy and Victor Bogdanovic. There are, I think, 5 covers that I saw across the internet on this one, but I'm okay with the A cover from Adam Kubert. From Scout, there's one book that makes the list this week, and it's North Bend #5 by Ryan Ellsworth and Pablo de Bionis. This has been a read that I've been slowly playing catch up on, that I've been trying to grab the filler issues. I think I needed 1 and 3 to match the things that have come in my Scout box, but I've liked what has happened in the beginning of those arcs, and with Scout, we know it's either going to be done in 6 or we'll see the traditional end of the arc in the next issue, so #5 should be pretty good. And then the last book this week is from Source Point Press, and it's Bug Bites #1, written and illustrated by Corinne Roberts. I looked at the synopsis of this one, and I'm willing to take a risk on any Source Point Press title that comes out. If you remember me talking about all of their books that came out during Free Comic Book Week in May, where I picked up all of their free titles and then bought a bunch of stuff to kind of experience on my own. I like their approach to horror. I like their approach to fantasy. I like just about everything that I've read from them, including Rotten Tail, the evil Easter Bunny comic and movie. It was cool. So I'm going to take a risk on Bug Bites #1. There are a couple of other Source Point books coming out this week, but I know that the only one that at least I'll be able to find is Bug Bites. So what are you getting this week? Are you getting more than 23 books? Are you getting less than 23 books? I'm guessing by the response to last week's video, the answer from most of you is way less than 23, that there were a lot of people who were like, I get 4, I get 8. I envy you. I blame it on my love of indie books. Sorry. But let me know if there's something that you're reading that I'm not that's coming out this week. Drop that down in the comments below. Let me know what you think about any books that I should avoid or get rid of that are on the list as I kind of focus on narrowing down everything that I'm buying and reading so I can, afford to live instead of, maybe needing to build a papier-mâché hut out of my last 3 weeks of new comic book days. But yeah, that's what I got coming out. Oh yeah, today is National Letterer Day, and I need to make sure to shout out And World Design. They're hosting a forum tonight where letterers kind of talk about, their job, the choices they have to make, and that kind of stuff. I will post a link in the description to that event, but you should go check it out. that YouTube's favorite Justin Birch will be participating, and you've seen him, unload toys on his haul videos on Two Brothers Comics channel. You've seen him on my debate show on Thursday nights as a judge. You've seen him show up on a Comic Burrito live stream, kind of shooting the shit back and forth. So he's someone who is not just a creator from the end of lettering, but he's also a member of our comic book YouTube community. So you should definitely go ask some questions and watch this forum, because I'm mesmerized by the kind of work that letterers have to do. So I'm definitely going to be there soaking it all in, and you should join us. So as always, thanks for stopping by, and have a good one.